Hey everyone, Incoherent here, back with more Rome Total War Remastered. Today we're continuing as the Julii, and I've got a lot of armies moving around in Asia Minor, and some more armies moving around in the Upper Balkans. I'm also slowly but surely destroying Numidia with this tiny army, and this actual army. So there's a lot of management to get into. Before that though, to quickly go over the broad strokes of the infrastructure across this empire, everyone's at very high taxes, even the Peloponnesus, or as high as they go, rather, without rioting. Because I'm more concerned about money and building things than growing population right now, mass enslavement is really the method by which I'm going to grow population, at least to the point where I can recruit more units and not necessarily grow the city. The only cities I really care about growing are Arminium, Arretium, and Mediolanum, which will all get to 6,000 pop, go up to that tier, and then use peasant spam to get Batavium up to 24,000 pop to trigger the Marian reforms. At which point, all 4 of these cities are going to start producing modern legions, and I'm probably going to use them to go to war with Rome instead of anyone else, but theoretically I could use them for the good of Rome and not for my own gain. Now I think the easiest stuff we're going to be handling is our units at war with Numidia, so let's start with that. We hop in the boat, we go down the coast. Easy. We know the city is here, next turn we're going to drop off right here, and hopefully we have enough movement left to get to the city, but it doesn't look like we will. Down here, we're sieging this city. It can hold out for 3 more turns. The army that could have stopped me just left, apparently. And this army is all cavalry, so we're never attacking it. We're just forcing them to sally forth with nothing but ranged units, and then we'll kill them all. This city just has Numidian javelinmen and a general in it. My army is, also pretty shit, being basically the same thing at a larger scale. But let's get this battle out of the way first.
I have won many great victories for Rome. Be strong in that truth, and let this be one more.
This general is the teenager that came of age in Carthage and only ever fought the Numidians. And sure, he's won all his battles, but I'm not convinced any of them were great victories just by the quality of his enemy. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use my general to lure his general out.
Our soldiers have captured the walls.
At which point I'm just going to have him run around after me, back and forth in front of all of these ranged units until I'm completely out of ammunition. Wait, he's sending out his skirmishers instead of his general? What's even happening here? Yeah, it looks like he wants to send everything? I'm not really sure why the AI is just leaving the town square entirely. I have found the AI to be relatively unpredictable when they have nothing but skirmisher units. So maybe that's what's happening. And it looks like I need to be careful about how I bait them out, because they got spooked pretty easily and just turned around last time. Alright, so we managed to convince them to come all the way forward, it looks like. And it's going predictably poorly for them. So this unit is all but dead at this point. And now we have to do jav-cav nonsense, so let's get to that. Because our current job is to just use all the rest of our ammunition on their general. Oh wait, why do you have a ram? No wonder you weren't throwing. Okay, now back to it. I'm just trying to bait his general around. So, this feels very silly. Alright, now I'm going to try to bait his general back all the way to the front to where my javelin men are at, because I don't really have an alternative. So far, I've been unable to bait his general into moving, so instead what I'm doing is I'm going to have all of my javelineers get together and throw shit at him, which should bait him out of the city. And then, when he moves, I'm going to charge him with my general as he pins himself against my javelineers. And this should be very effective. We didn't kill him, but we did rout him, and that's good enough.
Now he flees the field like a coward. Rome demands victory from her generals.
Losing only 20 men to deal with a general inside the town square is fantastic. I will absolutely take that. I'm worried that when I enslave this, I won't be able to recruit a garrison because it'll have too little population, which is exactly what happened. But that's not too big of a deal, I suppose. Ideally, we can see with this small garrison behind, and it won't be too bad. Surprise, surprise, it was pretty bad. They're very unhappy. So it looks like I'll be leaving behind an additional 98 men. And now they're completely fine. So, let's get sailing down the coast so that we can eventually get here much faster. So now I just need to do troop management in all of Anatolia and Thrace. And unfortunately, it looks like I'm an idiot and I sent all my boats north and never made a new one. So this army does nothing for a turn while I build a new boat. I'm going to leave behind all of the Principes with the intent of building a second new boat, sending them back to Sparta or Athens to be retrained. I think it's Sparta. Yeah, Sparta is the place I have that trains Principes in the east. But everything except the Principes can move out now, and save a small amount of movement next turn for the boat. But looking at these 4 units of Principes, it's not even one full unit. They desperately need to go get retrained in Sparta. So I'll be putting them on a second boat later to go somewhere else. And I have to lower the taxes, because that's quite upsetting for the people of Rhodes, who now have next to no garrison instead of a full standing army. So looking at this army, it might be able to reach Sardis this turn, but I think if I attack these peasants, I'll be moving too far out of the way to do it, because I really don't have that much movement after the river. So I'm going to send just the cavalry with the general to go deal with these rebels. Which again, should be a pretty easy one-sided stomp. I'm just going to encircle them, rout the peasants, and then kill the hoplites. Okay, so at this point, the peasants are just easily in range of getting charged by 2 different units of cavalry. The hoplites are looking the wrong way.
The gods have filled the heart of the enemy general with fear. Now he flees the field like a coward.
I'm going to have my cavalry break off rather than run into the hoplites like they're currently doing. Just line up to charge the hoplites in the back now. The hoplites, as you can see, are advancing on my other cavalry unit, which is the wrong decision. And this should rout them now that the general is running. Or perhaps it shouldn't. Regardless, though, they're going to be getting charged by something every single second for the rest of the game. It's just a matter of time until they break. I'm going to make sure I run down these peasants while these guys run themselves ragged. In fact, let's just put it on double speed.
The enemy general is slain, and now his men fear us. It is time to press the attack.
Because we're in no rush. He's getting more tired than we are walking around on foot. Easy game.
Gods be praised. The enemy's hearts are full of fear.
It's just very hard to imagine losing a fight like this with any meaningful losses. And hopefully this will have saved my infantry enough movement to make it to the Seleucid city this turn.
And this day
And glory! Engage the enemy!
Okay, so they can get here this turn.
Engage the enemy!
And that's more than enough. Okay, good. So this can start the siege. The infantry can join. And now we can... I guess we'll recruit a Thracian mercenary next turn. But the important thing is actually make a load of rams this turn. So, looking at this Pontic army, I feel like I should be dealing with it. But on the flip side, I could actually just get in a boat, go down the coast, and try to take their capital city. I don't actually have any reason I have to deal with this army right now. Yeah, I would mainly be defending Numidia, which is just a terrible city, wouldn't I? No, I'm going to deal with it. I'm not sure I actually need to fight this, but I don't like it being in my land. It's probably better to get on the boat and go to their capital. But because I want to deal with this, I'm going to be doing it now. And this army is pretty terrible. It's just the trash infantry of Pontus. We have massive cavalry superiority. We should be able to win this pretty easily. Alright, let's go see what the enemy's doing. Going to group everyone, lock them, and just move this whole formation to face them. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to have these horse archers empty all of their ammunition into this army. It looks like they've just accepted that they can't do anything about this. So I'll be back with you once this ammunition has run out. Okay, it looks like I've gotten their attention by moving my units around, but not like very much of their attention. So I'm just gonna wait for this to join the battle line and then move my cavalry line behind it and kill them all. It's deeply confusing that they thought this was a good idea. Yeah, unsurprisingly, they routed as they saw all the cavalry coming in. Just gonna get my cavalry out of here rather than engaging with the non-routing spearmen. And I think the army is just full on retreating at this point, so it's time to run them down with cavalry. Alright, it looks like my Scythian mercenaries are catching this routing unit, and the Eastern infantry here aren't really sure what to do about it. And definitely a lot of their units are going to get away from this, but I can't really do anything about that. Ah, damn it, they're on the red line already. No, they're not. I'm trying to use these Scythian mercenaries to bait the AI here into not leaving. Which I can't do. But I will get as many units as I can. I have managed to get this Eastern infantry to turn around at least. And that should be the end of the battle pretty immediately.
The gods be praised.
So, I think we took almost no casualties. Yeah, we took 26 and killed 800.
Victory.
That's incredibly good. So I have this army start walking right, and I'm going to have it drop a watchtower to better see what's happening around me. Alright. I will hire these Thracian mercenaries on the off chance I have to fight immediately on the next round. I'm going to send this 48 boat down to the right to try to scout for anything going on. I'm going to move these boats into this port to be safe, so I won't need them for a while. And my general there got a veteran centurion, which is +1 to command, and a military tribune, which is actually almost useless for me. So that covers Anatolia and Africa, which leaves our last field that we're fighting wars in, Thrace. This part's easy, I'm just moving north. This siege, however, is a lot messier. The city's able to hold out for 6 turns, so sieging them out feels pretty terrible. So first, I'm going to unite my armies. And now I could assault them. And if I did, this army would get involved. But I have enough stars to use Night Fighter, so I don't actually have to deal with that second army right now. So let's actually do this. Let's start a nighttime assault and see what we can do here. Because we outnumber their cavalry with better melee cavalry. Their skirmishers are going to be easy to pick off with our generals. They have 1 general to our 3. Their infantry is only 3 units to our 5 of higher quality units. Wait. Does Night Battle not get rid of his reinforcements? Okay, so I dropped a save. I'm going to fight Night Battle and see if it doesn't get rid of reinforcements, because I thought that was the whole point of Night Battle. And then, whether it has reinforcements or not, we're going to try to win this.
There stands the barbaric might of Thrace. Those warriors are terrible in their anger and cruel to all foes. In victory, they show no mercy.
As far as racist speeches about hating barbarians goes, that one was pretty tame. We tend to do a lot worse than that. So, I'm not actually initially concerned whatsoever with the siege. I'm going to be leaving behind all the siege equipment and lining up my units to actually push left, because according to that screen, there should be reinforcements coming. So, and yes, there are. Since we're far enough to the left, it looks like we can pretty consistently intercept this. I don't know if we can get that unit of cavalry in the front, but we can get everything else very consistently. Oh, he wants to fight us? That's baffling.
The enemy general is running away. This is no way for a leader to behave, but in battle, it's beyond belief.
Alright, I need my units to split apart a little bit so I can actually start trying to encircle this. Right now it's a bit of a clusterfuck. I want this unit to start going way further and in that direction. In fact, I want multiple units going further in this direction. Alright, range of the gates? No, good. And this is the encirclement starting to happen. That's not what we want to see, but except for that, everything's going perfectly fine. Yeah, this is just the sad thing that happens when you have cavalry outnumbering infantry. Alright, which direction are these units actually looking? Those are looking forward. Forward. And, okay, no one's looking in a weird direction. So these three are going to charge this in the back. You're going to continue running. You're going to continue running. And these two are going to charge this unit of hoplites in the back. And we'll need to peel off anything that doesn't route relatively quickly, because prolonged battles with spearmen, even hoplites facing the wrong direction, are absolutely terrible for you. This one routed, though. So, get in there, and same here. Both of the charges went according to plan. And honestly, these units are already pretty much completely wiped out. There's 11 left between them. So all I need to do is wipe out this last unit of hoplites. So which way are you looking? Left. Yeah. It's just very sad for them. So, I've used my cavalry to wipe out 3 units of militia hoplites before they could even get into the city. That's great for us. Actually, I'm going to try to let this last man get out of here alive. Because if he goes through the gates will be open. The gates are still open. Wait, did the spy open the gates by coincidence? Oh yeah, the spy must have opened the gates. I forgot he was even in this city. So we're just going to charge these horses in directly to the Peltas and hope to rout them with vastly superior numbers immediately.
Now is the time to press on and capture this place.
I'll take 1 unit in the back and have it deal with those broken hoplites. Gonna start moving my infantry around to this gate. Alright, rather than actually continuing with this, I am just going to try to get my units back out of the city. Because they are going to get absolutely dogpiled by hoplites if I send them in with, you know, just Black Friday mob style. I need to be doing it one at a time to actually get them safely into the city. Okay, so all our units are back up to fresh. And I've got a set of units at every one of the open gates. I have my infantry at these 2 gates with 1 unit of equites each. And both of these units are generals with the rest of the equites. So, going around, the easiest gate to breach right now is definitely this one. It's only guarded by Peltas, so I'm going to charge my equites in. And while they're moving up, I'm going to have my Principes get close so they can come in afterwards. And odds are the rest of the city's really not going to react to this much in time. Marching doesn't seem like it's what they're doing at all. That seems like a very inaccurate explanation of what's happening. And the Equites seem very confident in how this is going, which makes sense because they're fighting a small fraction of a missile unit. And now we get these Principes in the city, facing both directions to keep themselves safe. I'm going to do my best to run down this unit of Peltas so that they never form up and cause any problems later. And now we can see that once we actually take in the gates, they start reacting more. See, Like, look at the pathfinding line that appears for this. What on earth is this? Still, the Peltas are running into us, even if we're not doing much ourselves, so that's going to be good. We're going to kill the vast majority of them. This is Falksman, so we don't want to just walk into that. Over here, they've got a Hoplite, and over here they have a Hoplite. So these two gates are just going to be AFK for a while. We can see they've got Missile Cavalry and Peltas moving around in the middle, which we can't beat both of them at once. Not reliably with just one unit of Equites. The AI seems content to just, like, stay in this position and let me have this part of the walls. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run these Equites down the wall over to where my general is with these Equites. And I'm going to just use this group that I'm currently moving to distract these Hoplites away and get the rest of this cavalry in here. This might end up being a sacrificial group of Equites depending on how the AI moves its units. Like, it could easily get pinned between Hoplites and all of this. But it'll be worth it to take this gate and get all the rest of my cavalry in. And I think, more likely than not, it doesn't get pinned, and in fact, it's part of a horse sandwich that kills this unit of Hoplites. Are these Peltas? Militia Cavalry. Equites do beat Militia Cavalry in straight melee engagements, but it's kind of close. It's just a 6 defense bonus in favor of the Equites. So I'm hesitant to send them in through the gate to try to fight them. But I might try it just as a science experiment. Right now I'm focused on this, though. So, since they're walking away to deal with the Equites, that means the rest of my horses can come right on in. And there's no real movement in the rest of the city so far. They've realized the error of their ways and they're going back to stop the rest of the cavalry, but I've already got one unit inside, which means they're caught between a rock and a hard place, or in this case, 2 horses. So they're going to get charged full on in the back by these Equites. And they're either going to do nothing about that or get charged in the back by a general instead, which is even worse for them. I'm trying to get the route by charging them, but I don't think it's going to happen. There we go. And now we get the surround and the charge with the general, and that's going to be the route. Easy. And this lets us get the rest of this cavalry in here. And we are just bit by bit picking apart these defenders. They've got militia cavalry moving to attack my Hastati, so I'm going to send both of these units of horsemen that are already inside the town to just go and directly attack these. And since they're fully charging in, I will actually send the other unit of Principes to go reinforce. I don't think they'll even need the help, to be honest, but just in case. So looking closely at this fight, it's a complete clusterfuck. Both units are taking massive casualties, and the militia cavalry are coming out ahead. But they've also put themselves in a position where they're going to die, and they need their units way more than I need mine. Here we can see that they're doing the same thing, where they're pulling their hoplites away to deal with a cavalry threat, but it's just going to result in them getting charged in the back and losing this unit. These Principes have stopped routing, but once a unit routs, it's pretty much unreliable for the rest of the battle. So I'm not ever going to try to use them again. And it looks like that's one unit of missile cavalry more or less completely wiped out. In fact, I'm actually going to tell this unit of Principes just to get off the map, and I'm going to move it to the far left so that I know it's not worth using. It's just so unreliable to use units that have routed once. They're so much more likely to break after the first time. Alright. So, I'm going to set that charge up and move this unit further away. And we're going to do the same horse sandwich to this hoplite that we did to the last one. So, I'm faking a charge here just to see if I can get them to rout, and I can't. So I'm going to pull off at the last second, or a second too late, rather. And as soon as they start to turn, I'm going to actually charge and wipe them out. And that's another unit of hoplites routed, and shortly thereafter, hunted down. I may as well kill this one man who thinks he can do something. What's going on with these units? What am I actually looking at on this front? 2 units of militia cavalry. Okay, so it looks like the enemy is using out their Peltas right here. I'm just going to send my cavalry to kill that once it's actually overextended and near me. This should not be where it is. It's very unsafe for this. Since they've realized the error of their ways and are trying to retreat, I'm just going to charge now and get as many as I can. This is militia cavalry again, moving forward. Yeah. And we completely wipe that unit out pretty much instantly. Very nice. This city so far has actually not been very bad to move around in. It's been very easy to control where our units are going. And actually, I'm going to move these units this direction, with the intent of killing this militia cavalry by charging it from both directions. It looks like they might have similar plans from me. They've got 3 units of militia cavalry down here, and I think I can kill pretty much all of them with cavalry right now. Alright, so I have these 4 units of cavalry that are all almost in position to charge right here and try to deal with some of this militia cavalry. And they seem like their pathfinding has just broken and glued them to a wall, which is probably not great for charging them, to be honest. But I am going to do my best to kill them and wipe this out. It does very much just look like their pathfinding is broken and not working, though. And there's nowhere for them to skirmish to. They're being attacked from both directions.
General flees.
Okay, so all of these units were small and weak and easily wiped out anyway. They weren't really full units.
The gods be praised. The enemy's hearts are full of fear, and now they flee.
Going to pull this cavalry back, have this equites join up with them, and get all of this infantry inside the wall. And I think we're getting pretty close to just dealing with the city square at this point. We've wiped out a lot of units. The balance of power is 82 to 15. And, well, pathfinding hasn't been too bad for me. It does look like there's just like everyone's just glued to this wall, right? It's clearly not going as well for the AI as it is for me. I'm just gonna send the equites to charge this 1 unit of militia cavalry. This 2nd unit of militia cavalry. I don't want to send all of my cavalry to do this because I'm worried that would cause them to rout very quickly. And I'm trying to get as many of them killed as possible. With the casualties this equites in particular has taken at this point, I'm going to largely get him out of the battlefield. I'm going to try to use this general instead, anytime I need to charge stuff. Because they're going to keep sending out small units, I imagine. Oh, they're actually sending out a whole unit this time. I want the 2nd general to come help then. And it's time to start the charge. And I think this should be a pretty one-sided stomp with this militia cavalry. There is a general's bodyguard in the town square that just hasn't been used at all up to this point, so I am a little bit worried about that. And I can actually see him coming steadily now. So in case he's coming all the way out here, I do want my infantry lined up and ready to go, and my own general ready to reinforce the rest of the family bodyguards. But so far, it's just been these 2 generals wiping out this cavalry. May as well have my general help, though. Want to minimize the chance of my people actually dying. Losing a family over here would just be a completely unnecessary tragedy. And to that end, I'm going to start removing these units from the battle as well. So again, they're going all the way to the left. I don't want to use them anymore. So I'm just putting it at triple speed for a while and charging this unit every time it comes forward with my own general. Okay, so at this point they're done sallying forth with small broken units. They have half a unit of Falksmen, an unused general's bodyguard, and like, yeah, a unit of 1 militia cavalry. So it's time to surround the square and slog it out, I think. Okay, so I just killed that last 1 militia cavalry because it kept trolling and running in front of my units. And it looks like that was enough to pull the general forward. So I'm going to set these to fire at will. Just going to have my general not be in this battle initially. And with their general out of the square, I'm going to send these Principes and eventually these Equites to go wipe out the Falksmen in the square.
enemy general is slain.
Nice.
And now his men fear us. It is time to press the attack.
Okay. So, with this general's bodyguard having suffered massive losses, I think it's at a point where we can slog it out in the square, and I can afford to retrain whatever Equites casualties I'll take. So, I'm just going to triple speed this. I'm not sending my family members in, I'm sending the rest of the army to storm the square. Which is, like, you know, probably not super efficient, but I can't be bothered to do this slowly forever.
Rome demands victory from her generals.
Yeah, we end up taking probably another 200 extra casualties by storming the square at the end just quickly, as opposed to doing it very slowly. But there's a limit to how much time I'm willing to spend playing efficiently. It would have been another, like, 10 minutes in that battle for me to actually slowly get all of my units in position and then come in at even timings from all sides. And would only have saved me like 100, maybe 150 casualties.
Victory and glory!
Which doesn't matter to me, because I'm very confident I can retrain, yeah, all of my Equites in this town. Unfortunately, I didn't realize that my army was predominantly Principes, and I can't retrain that here. And Quintus Julius is now a good commander. Now, I'm never going to be making Velites, so I'm going to destroy this range for money and to reduce the culture penalties. And this city is never going to really be able to recruit any meaningful amount of infantry, it seems like. Well, that's not true. I can get it to the point where I can retrain these Principes. So I will build a militia barracks, and I will lower the tax rates, and I will start retraining these units. Am I at war with Dacia yet? I honestly can't remember. No. I can get an absolutely massive number of mercenaries here, though. I was thinking that my army was too depleted to really justify going to war, but seeing just how many mercenaries I can pick up, I'm just going to take a mercenary army and head northwest. Because this is absurd. I'll pick up the rest of these mercenaries next turn. I just want this army to feel safe for the time being. And I'm absolutely going to go War with Dacia next turn. And I got Mercenary Captain as well, which is fantastic. And as is all too common in my campaigns, that's going to be the end of this turn, and I really haven't built any infrastructure. I've just went to war on every single front with no self-control. Like, if I look at the Diplomacy tab, I have 4 enemy factions, and only one of these is a defensive war. I'm about to declare another offensive war entirely unprovoked with the current trade partner. But anyways, that's been turn 27 of the Julii. This has been rather incoherent, and I'm going to be ending the video here. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please consider subscribing. It really helps the channel grow. And I'll see you around.